Hello everyone!
Hello.
Today we are having something here that is basically going back to the very roots of our channel. Basically one of the first things we have looked at, and the video has never seen the light of day because we were absolutely inexperienced. It is
The watercolor markers. These over here are the Decotime ones. They come in a really nice deco tray.
the box is amazing.
We have done a video in the past that never made it out of the editing phase because it just did not convey anything, and it was also down to our inexperience with using these things. And as we soon learned, also the paper we were using was coming up with results that were not adequate for what you'd expect from these.
Yes, none of us has ever worked with watercolor markers before, so there was like a little bit, well, when I say there was a bit of a learning curve, there is still a bit of a learning curve, because we are oftentimes not quite sure how to use these to the best of effects. A lot of people seem to have this issue, and we kind of noticed while we were looking around that these seem to be like very selective when it comes to the kind of paper they are working on well and the paper they are really not working on well.
Yes. So recently we bought these from Tedi.
Which is, if you do not know Tedi, if it's not available in one of your countries, a European cheap store, something akin to, I guess, a $1 store, kind of sorta in a way.
So here's Officeline and this is Einhorn. Now, Einhorn is Officeline and Officeline is Einhorn. If you get the joke and reference to that, congratulations to you.
Yeah, basically Officeline was everything they branded in the art way, because I guess they were like thinking this belongs to the Office range of products. While I guess Einhorn is German, means as much as unicorn, and they thought it sounds more artsy. That's what I gather. So they rebranded these basically.
Yeah, and well, they are exactly the same because I have been having a little bit of a go at them, and I have noticed something really interesting. So I just briefly want to mention paper. This featured in one of our very first art haul videos, if not the very first one, where we bought this Decotime twin sketchbook that has alcohol markers on one side and aqua markers on the other side. And we were always trying, and they just do not blend the way you would expect.
It's weird.
It's weird, because like here I tried to do the blending like a few videos ago when we colored in with these Decotime markers in this coloring book. We noticed that you were able to blend the colors in a really nice way, which is impossible to do on this paper. So I actually was going to come up with a video about maybe using this on the back side of the coloring pictures and draw here, but it goes a little bit skew from there. We ended up buying one of these.
Yes, which also come from a store called Action. This is where you can buy those Decotime branded products here. On the first glance, it looks very similar to this one. It even has like two kinds of paper in it. One half is like alcohol marker and one half is like watercolor marker paper.
Yes.
However, once you actually get to use those two next to each other, you kind of notice that this works way better than this.
Exactly, and I'm going to show you exactly now what I mean. So in here, I did a little test paper, as you can see. These are the Decotime ones. You can see that they do blend. And as you can see, Officeline and Einhorn barely blend at all. It's actually really horrible. Especially the Einhorn / Officeline actually ends up eating the paper as well. So,
which is never a good thing.
But I mean, the blending here is still not what you'd expect. You know, you would expect it to blend more like, I don't know, watercolor paint or something. So, in the back of this coloring book, I did the same swatch thing. And as you can see here, it's like Really weird that all the colour just centered around the outside of the puddle of water. While here, these two literally ate the paper. I don't know what happened there. So, this is where it gets really interesting. This aqua paper in here, have a look at that. I used exactly the same Decotime colours, but look how they flowed into each other as if they are watercolour paints.
This is what I meant when I say those two look like at the first glance the same. They aren't really. It even feels kind of like a little different. The difference is not like huge, but it's, if you actually know what you are looking for, it's noticeable.
It's very noticeable. So, how can I put it? It's really weird to have two things that are exactly the same brand, but this is completely superior over this one. So, what I would like you to do, I want you to choose two Decotime colors.
Two Decotime colors, okay.
Yes.
Well, then I'm gonna take an orange one, and I'm gonna take a yellow one, since those colors are pretty close by each other.
So I'm going to make a little line here.
Alright.
I want to do something over here that I want to show everyone. And this is going to be your test area.
This is my test area.
This is your test area. So I want you to blend these two Decotime colors together.
Alright. Now here's the funny part of the video, because I do not really, I'm not really like experienced with watercolor in general at all. So I'm never sure if what I'm doing is actually correct. But then I'm probably like exactly the customership for this kind of cheap brand stuff. Because someone like me would not go out and buy like the most expensive thing in fear of ruining something. So I'm just gonna, again for reference, those are the Decotime Aqua markers from Action. I'm gonna try to blend them a little. And here we go.
And there, you managed to blend them together. Now that blending that he has done over here would not be possible on this paper. All this he's done. Because I have no idea why this paper is so vastly different to the paper in this one. So for Einhorn, or Officeline, I've taken also a yellow and orange for you, and I want you to try and do something similar with them.
Alright. Well, that's just gonna...
Oh yeah, the Decotime ones have a brush tip and a fine point, and the Einhorn / Officeline have a chisel tip and a fine tip.
Which I'm on the first, I mean, I've never really used these now. I'm not a fan of the chisel. Ugh. Ugh. It's ugh. I can't really describe it different, as this is the most unsatisfying feel I've ever felt with a marker on a piece of paper. I'm gonna take the bullet nib here. It's not much better. Ugh. This is, I should say, I also don't like if someone like cleans a carpet with a rag or something. This kind of noise grates me. Think of someone, I don't want to be too graphic, but think of the famous fork and plate torture method. That's what this kind of does to me. And it feels rough, it sounds rough. I don't like it. Okay. Let's do something with water instead. That shouldn't make any noises. No, it's not. I can finally breathe through. Now everyone's shouting, don't be such a big baby. I know, but you know.
Come on. I can't even say the word sponge without being grossed out, because I can't stand the feel of sponge. So.
Understandably.
But as you can see, it's not blending
It's not blending well. I mean, not even like putting the color on was like smoothly, as you noticed. I mean,
Yes.
here with the, especially with the brush side, it was very smooth to put the colors on, but this, and also you kind of noticed I did these streaks here.
Yeah, it's not working
I
now.
can't do it, but I'm just gonna give this the best chance. I'm gonna add a bit of water. It's barely doing anything. No, I don't like it. Thank you very much.
It's not good, is it?
There you go.
Alright, so just want to clean the brush. Of course I don't have a tissue with me, but that's okay. So I want to, I think this was the color I used. Alright, so here are 2 Decotime markers. I'm going to use the brush point, and I just want to show you something that looks really nice. And these work so nicely on this paper.
Now, if anyone is saying, of course they should because they are from the same store. In theory, yes, but don't forget these basically have been purchased with more than 1 year in between. When we originally bought these markers, that paper wasn't in the store. That paper was in the store and it never worked really that well on this paper.
No. So like I said, we had a video that we have made featuring that paper and as well as the alcohol markers, and we just never got anywhere because we're going to revisit the alcohol marker side at some point. But there you go.
That seems to work well.
That seems to work well. The blending works really well with the Decotime on this paper. It doesn't blend well on the smaller book for some reason. I don't know if it's just the batch number or is it just a quirk of the smaller ones.
My guess, and I do not know if there is any truth to this, so this is being taken with a grain of salt, please, is that these do not work too well on a paper that basically sucks up the paint too much, because you do not have anything on the surface to work with. So I guess it's basically like a very small path that you have to walk with the paper for these to work correctly.
I think so. So I'm going to take 2 Einhorn markers. I'm going to try to do exactly the same thing. I've gone with colors that are as close as I can possibly get.
What do you say to the feel and the noise they make?
It's actually really horrible.
It's
because
horrible.
It feels like you are dragging it through a thing of sand.
Yes, that's, thank you. It's basically like drawing on sandpaper.
So I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I have done with the other heart and have a look at this.
Oh, it barely does anything at all.
Barely does anything. They don't blend into each other like here. And you don't get that nice watercolor effect when you pull it down. It just makes a streak.
Yeah, that's basically also what I got here. I mean, you can see here when I was like just playing around with the colors here. I mean, now you can see after it dried a bit, like you have like a nice little gradient going on. And I mean, obviously you would not do something like this, but you can actually pull the color far away. While this here, you can pull the color barely anywhere. It just smudges everywhere and it's like generally unpleasant.
Absolutely. So a few weeks ago, we featured these watercolor pencils by Einhorn. These are great. I like them a lot. They are worth the money. But I personally would stay clear away from their aqua markers because they do not blend, they don't look good, they don't feel good, and it's just a literal waste of money.
Which just shows you that oftentimes these cheaper products, even though they look really high quality, are not that, and it's a bit of hit and miss. It's always like a little bit of a gamble. If you are in luck, then you have something that works very well for the little price you paid, and if you are not in luck, it's like very unpleasant. I mean, that's the reason why the big brands charge much more for it, because they have like a much stricter, much tighter quality control. They put much better resources into their products. It's just the nature of the beast.
I think so too. And to finalize, this was shown in our video for the Einhorn watercolor pencils. I just want to show you here. This is an Officeline one. This is Einhorn, and that's Decotime. This is an aqua marker that I used water to blend. You can see the Decotime one blended perfectly, and these two didn't blend at all.
Yeah, it's really stunning.
It's really, really stunning. So yeah, I would stay clear of these. However, these will be returning in a future video. I don't know when, because they're going to be part of an experiment that could potentially be interesting.
We're trying to mod them. If you heard that, it's like thundering outside. Even nature doesn't like these aqua markers.
Yes. But yeah, these ones will be set aside for an experiment that I hope will be interesting to everybody.
Oh, we are trying to mod them.
Yeah, and I guarantee you the mod will probably work.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Absolutely. So yeah, this video is a little bit all over the place, but we are just wanting to give Decotime some praise here. That they have actually made really good aqua markers that are actually capable of blending.
Exactly.
And if you are in Europe, Decotime, go for it. Stay away from Einhorn.
Yes, and if you're in any other place of the world, they probably always will look similar.
Most probably.
In a way, if you see this kind of shape.
Yeah.
Try them out by all means if they are cheap enough, but don't be too surprised if you get like something akin to this.
Yeah, or just go for a really small set and see if it's what you want, and then that way you're not wasting that much money. So yeah, I think that's it for this week.
Yes, if you enjoyed what you were seeing, leave us a comment. If you didn't, leave us a comment either, because we want to know what we can do better. And we shall see you next time.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.